Welcome to the Reality of Herbal Therapy podcast, The Nervous System. I wanted to keep on going with our series on the different systems of the body, kind of help you as you look at what's going on, which way to go. Because basically with herbs, you treat the system, not the symptom. That's a really important thing to remember. So the nervous system. So back when I was in college, I didn't feel like I was stressed. I think I was working 2 jobs at the time, going to school, and it didn't seem like I was overly stressed. So one day I wasn't feeling really well. And so Lynn, knowing everything about the herbs, gave me a couple of Nerquilizer and said, "Here, take this, it'll help." And so after I took the Nerquilizer, I lay down on the couch and I slept for like 16 hours. Now that's not a normal everyday thing for everybody, but basically what happens is when our body becomes stressed, it sucks up all sorts of nutrients and minerals and vitamins that help with the communication. So the nervous system consists of basically it's the brain, the spinal cord, and the nerves that go throughout the body. And they go through everywhere throughout the body. And so the interesting thing about nerves and things is they're kind of like a bunch of beads. And so when you have any issue with that, so the nervous system is, so those beads that go along throughout the body are coated in what they call the myelin sheath. So it's basically they're coated. And so this coating that goes along all of these beads, the impulses that, the communication between the nerves flows along the outside of those beads. And so when you become stressed or you have a lot of things that are requiring you to like be thinking and be working and to keep on moving, basically it takes a little bit of minerals or vitamins from your body as it goes along that myelin sheath for that communication to happen. So if you're depleted in it, then the communication can't happen. And that's where, like certain things like depression, overwhelm, things like that, you're low on those vitamins and the minerals that will help that communication between those beads for your body. So, so whenever somebody talks about the nervous system, there's always the go-to formula, the thing that you will want to look into first. So the first thing, of course, is Nerquilizer. Nerquilizer was developed for that very purpose, to help your body deal with stress. It feeds and nourishes that myelin sheath, and it helps, basically gives your body what it needs so that communication can happen. The easier the communication, the better we are able to cope with and deal with stress, anxiety, and things like that. So on a kind of along with that, if it gets degraded to the point where there's a miscommunication, where the communication can't continue, your body will think of that as pain. So, I want to kind of, like, as I talk about the different formulas, how to deal with. So sometimes pain. So there's pain of, something's damaged. Whenever we get hurt, basically the nerves get cut. The nerves aren't communicating, and that's how the body says, "Oh, there's pain." That the pain is our body's way of saying there's something wrong with the nerves and there isn't communication. So if your myelin sheath gets too degraded, then your body will interpret that as pain, tell you that there's pain. So sometimes things like fibromyalgia, MS, things like that, things that degrade that myelin sheath, your body can interpret it as pain. So fibromyalgia, there's a lot to that. There's a lot of other things going on, but Nerquilizer is one that you'll want to look at to see if it will help with that pain that comes along with it. So you've got Nerquilizer. Nerquilizer is the go-to. Any stress, brain, spinal cord, anything like that, Nerquilizer. Nerquilizer feeds and nourishes the nervous system. So the other formula, so we have two formulas kind of that go hand in hand. So Nerquilizer is like the one for the nerves and everything like that. The other formula that we have is Chillin. So Chillin has the mineral lithium in it. So lithium is one of those essential minerals for the communication of the neurons in the brain. So, there's the prescription lithium, and then there's the mineral lithium. They're quite different. So, if you told somebody I'm taking this supplement with lithium, and they might be like, "Hey, oh no, that's not good," because of the side effects of the prescription lithium. But the mineral lithium is very different. So the difference between Nerquilizer and Chillin. So Nerquilizer helps feed the nervous system and helps with the communication between them. Chillin basically helps with brain function and the connection between the brain to the spinal cord and things like that. So Nerquilizer and Chillin, a lot of people actually take them together. So, and Chillin, you don't need a lot. It only takes a little bit. Basically, Chillin is one that will help with coping, anxiety, and things like that. Nerquilizer will help keep it level, keep it from spiking one way or the other, from either depression or extreme anxiety, things like that. Nerquilizer will help your body to deal with those things. And then Chillin kind of is it's kind of like an instant fix. So Chillin will help deal with the problem right away. Nerquilizer is long term. So the next formula that is pretty much essential for nervous and stuff is our B&C complex. So the major vitamin that is within that myelin sheath, the one that allows for the communication between those beads, is the B vitamins. And so you want to make sure that you have plenty of B vitamins to keep that communication going. It's really important. So, and again, the B vitamins is kind of a constant thing. Nerquilizer and B vitamins are constant. So you want to keep that system healthy. And then Chillin, it's an instant fix. We had a salesman come in one day and he was really, really stressed. He was trying to sell something, and Jessica was up front at the office, and so she didn't want to buy whatever it was he was doing, but she could tell he was really, really stressed. So she just gave him a couple of Nerquilizer and a Chillin, and she's like, "Here, take these. It'll help." And then and he's like, "Thanks," and went off on his selling thing. About a half hour later, he came back and he's like, "I need some more of that. That was amazing. It really changed everything." So we talked a little bit about pain. So whenever there is a miscommunication or a misfire, so the communication between the beads can't continue, then your body will interpret that as pain. So that's where the formula Throbbys comes in. Basically, it allows for that communication. It doesn't. So Throbbys isn't like a painkiller. Basically, a painkiller tells your body, just ignore the miscommunications. So it bypasses that. So what Throbbys does is it says, okay, there's a communication, there's a miscommunication, but we can deal with it. So Throbbys helps with that little bit of makes pain manageable, because basically if with other things, if you take those, take the prescription painkillers or other painkillers that basically just say don't ignore any pain, you can actually end up hurting yourself more. Whereas with Throbbys, it makes it so your body can cope with the pain. It's not it makes it so it's not so severe that it's unbearable and you can't cope with it. It makes it smooth. It smooths it out. And so once that pain is smoothed out, you can, think through it, get through it and stuff. So Nerquilizer, chillin, B's and C's, feed it, Throbbies, helps you to say, yes, I do have pain, but I can cope with it and I know what to do with it. So like I talked about, vitamins and minerals. So if your nervous system issues, pain, or whatever issues are going on for a long time, you want to feed the system. So that's where Tissue Mend and PM Minerals come in. Those two they're amazing. They're basically chock full of vitamins, minerals, whatever the things that your body needs that are essential to help build up that myelin sheath so that it functions properly, and it will continue communicating properly to help you avoid that stress and anxiety and things like that. So PM Minerals and Tissue Mend are really, really helpful. So with another set of formulas that go along with the Nerquilizer and chillin, you want to look at if there are either male or female issues going on, because some certain systems will take priority over other systems depending on how severe the issue is. If your heart is struggling for all sorts of stuff, it's going to pull the calcium and magnesium from wherever it can. It'll suck it from your bones. It will suck it from wherever so that your heart can continue pumping, because your heart is essential. Your bones hold you up, but you can continue to live with weak and brittle bones. So along those lines, if the reproductive systems or the male systems or the female systems are compromised, sometimes those can lead to nervous system issues because you're pulling stuff. So you want to feed for women, it's Dong Quai. Dong Quai has all the building blocks for all of the hormones that a woman's body needs. So Dong Quai is amazing simply because if a woman's body needs it, it can make it if it has all of the building blocks. So by taking Dong Quai, you give your body what it needs, and that will take a lot of that stress off of the nervous system trying to pull whatever it needs to be healthy. So Dong Quai is really, really helpful for that. For men, we would say Hapio. Hapio does the same kind of thing. It has the building blocks for any of the male hormones that that a man's body would need. So another thing kind of to think about and when you're working with the nervous system and treating nervous system issues is if there is a lot of toxins. So you've got vitamin mineral deficiencies that don't allow for that communication, but you can also have toxins that block the communication, especially heavy metals. There's a lot of those that will block that communication or degrade the communication between the beads of the nervous system. So, if you've been exposed, mercury is a really common one that blocks that communication. In the 1900s, when they would make hats from beaver skins and some other things, they used mercury to cure it. And so when the expression "mad as a hatter," basically where that comes from is because their mercury poisoning became so much that it degraded that communication between the neurons in the brain. And so there was so much toxins that it prevented the communication, which caused, insanity and all sorts of other mental issues. So if there are toxic buildups, things like that, detoxylation is amazing. For what detoxylation does is the chlorella in it actually wraps around heavy metals And then the other herbs in that formula basically help to, once they're wrapped, helps to move it into the bloodstream, which then moves it into either the urine or the bowels and helps it so your body can get rid of it. Otherwise, when there's heavy metals or other toxins in your environment, your body doesn't know what to do with it. It will wrap it in fat and stick it somewhere. But it's kind of like nuclear waste, that it gets shoved off somewhere because your body can't move it. So it's wrapped in fat to kind of like protect yourself, but it's still leaking and oozing, and and so you want to get that out of the body. And so detoxylation will wrap around those heavy metals and move it out of the system. So along those lines, blood wash also is really helpful, because as you're taking detoxylation, you're stirring up the heavy metals and they're getting wrapped and they end up in the blood. So by taking blood wash, it will help to move those toxins into the blood so that it can move through the urine or through the bowels. So that is what you would do for any nervous system issue. So some people will call us, there are some degenerative diseases, things that destroy the myelin sheath, or the neurological issues, things like Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, like the shakes, and the MS is another one. The shakes and stuff are because your body, there's not that communication. So it's misinterpreting a communication that you want to move a certain muscle or move a certain way. So it's kind of like, it's like stuttering across those beads. So the big thing about those is that they are degenerative. So Parkinson's, for example, is years and years and years and years and years of that myelin sheath being degraded. It's not something that you can fix overnight. There's a lot of people that will call and they'll want an immediate fix. It doesn't fix it overnight, but Nerquilizer and Chillin will help to slowly rebuild it. But it takes a long time to continue to build up to basically repair the damage. And the thing about a lot of those MS and Parkinson's, any of those, the damage is continually happening. So basically you have to be rebuilding faster than the damage can happen. If you're trying to put up a wall as a hurricane or a tornado comes through and is ripping down your house, getting ahead of that can be a problem. But Nerquilizer will definitely help with the symptoms of that. So, it's not that it can't fix it, but it's going to take a little bit of work and time and stuff. So those are the herbs for any neurological nervous system that you want to use to feed and nourish the nervous system. So if you have questions, let me know, and then we will talk system next time.
It is not the intent of professional herbal instruction or any persons associated therewith to diagnose or prescribe. The intent is only to offer herbal information for your consideration. In the event you use this information without your doctor's approval, you are prescribing for yourself, which is your God-given right. But professional herbal instruction or any persons associated herewith assume no responsibility. The claims and statements made on this podcast have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease.